What is up, guys? So something that people might not know about me is when I was first introduced to MGTOW by watching Sandman videos, the first thing that caught my eye and the thing that really got me looking into MGTOW more and more and more was a video Sandman did on how men become, for lack of a better word, dumber when they're in relationships. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally true. I just thought back to some of my relationships, and I'm thinking, yeah, when I was in them, my thoughts are all cloudy, and I'm not thinking straight. And when I'm out of the relationship, I can look back and be like, what the fuck was I doing? And even when I'm not in a relationship, and back when I was still not into the MGTOW lifestyle, I would pander to women, and I'm like, why would I do that, right? Just being around them would make me kind of, as this article says, cognitively impaired, which is completely true. So I found this article to tell other men about this, and it may resonate with some of you guys. So, why interacting with a woman can leave men cognitively impaired. In one experiment, just telling a man he would be observed by a female was enough to hurt his psychological performance. Movies and television shows are full of scenes where a man tries unsuccessfully to interact with a pretty woman. In many cases, the potential suitor ends up acting foolishly despite his best attempts to impress. It seems like his brain isn't working quite properly, and according to new findings, it might not be. Researchers have begun to explore the cognitive impairment that men experience before and after interacting with women. A 2009 study demonstrated that after a short interaction with an attractive woman, men experienced a decline in mental performance. A more recent study suggests that this cognitive impairment takes hold even when men simply anticipate interacting with a woman who they know very little about. San Knotts and her colleagues at Radboud University in the Netherlands ran 2 experiments using men and women university students as participants. They first collected a baseline measure of cognitive performance by having the students complete a Stroop test. After completing the Stroop test, participants in Knotts' study were asked to take part in another supposedly unrelated task. They were asked to read out loud a number of Dutch words while sitting in front of a webcam. Women's performance on the second test did not differ regardless of the gender of their observer. However, men who thought a woman was observing them ended up performing worse on the second Stroop test. This cognitive impairment occurred even though the men had not interacted with the female observer. In a second study, Knotts and her colleagues again began the experiment by having each participant complete the Stroop test. Then each participant was led to believe they would soon be taking part in the same lip-reading task, similar to the first study. Half were told that a man would observe them, and the other half were led to believe that a woman would observe them. In reality, the participants never engaged in the task. After being told about it, they completed another Stroop test to measure their current level of cognitive functioning. Once again, women's performance on the test did not differ, regardless of whether they were expecting a man or a woman to observe them, but men who had been told a woman would observe them ended up doing much worse on the second Stroop test. Thus, simply anticipating the opposite sex interaction was enough to interfere with men's cognitive functioning. Alright, so there you have it, guys. I don't know about you, but if anyone can relate to this, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read some of these. But personally, right, like I said in the beginning, I can totally relate to this. I've been in relationships and I got out of them, and I would think about the things that I did in that relationship, and to me it would just seem like the dumbest, most moronic thing to do. I honestly, just looking back at them, I could not even believe that I was doing those types of things, right? So let me know what you guys think about this article. If you have similar experiences and can relate to it, please let me know. I read all the comments, so I do see them. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.
If they smoke, I'm turned off. If they drink, I'm out of there. If they're stupid, I'm bored. If they're mean, I'm bored. If they're trying to use me, I'm out of there. So I guess I'm very picky. If they don't work out, I'm not interested. If the mind is lazy and the body's lazy, who cares?